This was a tribute ceremony, a funeral of sorts, held in Nepal on 12th May this year. Doesn't look all that unusual, right? Somber faces, chanting and prayers, the kind of moment that makes you pause and feel something. But there's something about this ceremony that might just break your heart a little more. Because this wasn't a farewell for a person they love. This was a farewell to a glacier, to Nepal's Yala. A glacier peak that once fed valleys, trained scientists, and carved memory into stone. I'm your host Lavanya, and in this episode of The Climate Brief, we travel to the high Himalayas to witness something rare, something sacred, and something terrifying. Because when a glacier dies, what exactly are we saying goodbye to? On May 12th, more than 50 people made the long climb to Yala Glacier. It took them hours, maybe days to climb above 5,000 meters. The air was thin, the cold unforgiving. But they made their journey anyway. Buddhist monks, local travelers, glaciologists from Nepal, India, China, and Bhutan. Different languages, different faiths, but bound together by a shared sense of loss. It was one of the strangest funerals the Himalayas had ever seen. Yala Glacier, one of Nepal's most studied bodies of ice, has shrunk by 66% since it was first measured in the 1970s. It retreated 784 meters, revealing more rock than snow. And by 2040, scientists say it will disappear completely. There were no speeches at first, just silence and the sound of melting water trickling over rock. Then a ceremony began. Incense drifted through the thin air. 2 granite plaques were unveiled at the glacier's feet, each one carrying a message not just for this moment, but for the future. Granite markers carved in 3 languages, English, Nepali, and Tibetan. One bears the words of Andri Snare Magnusson, an Icelandic author who also eulogized his own country's lost glacier in 2019. It reads,
"Message is to acknowledge that we know what is happening and what needs to be done, and only you know if we did it."
The second was written by Manjushri Thapa, a Nepali author. She writes,
Yala, where the gods dream high in the mountains, dream of a glacier and the civilizations downstream, entire ecosystems, our own sustenance, the cosmos, and all that we know.
These weren't just memorials. They were time capsules, messages carved in stone because ice, it seems, isn't permanent anymore. Yala Glacier isn't just another patch of ice. It has been a classroom, a living lab, a place where over 100 young glaciologists trained from Nepal, India, China, Pakistan, and even Afghanistan. For 5 decades, this glacier helped us understand the Himalayan cryosphere. It was studied more closely than most any other glacier in Nepal. But now it's mostly rock. The snowpack has thinned, the ice is collapsing inward. But here's the thing, this story, it's not just about Yala. Because this funeral was never meant for one glacier. It was a warning. And Yala, it's just the beginning. The Yala Glacier may have received a funeral, but it is not the only one dying. Across the Hindu Kush Himalayas, the so-called third pole, over 54,000 glaciers are melting. These mountains hold more ice than anywhere on Earth outside the Arctic and Antarctic. And they feed 10 of the world's major rivers, lifelines for more than 1.5 billion people. From the Ganga to the Yangtze, these rivers irrigate farms, power cities, and shape the economies of Asia's biggest nations. And yet, this region remains one of the least studied cryospheres on Earth. Vast stretches of ice are disappearing without even being measured. In 2025 alone, snow persistence in the Ganga basin hit a 23-year low, down nearly 25% from normal. And this is just the beginning. Earth's mountains have lost 9 trillion tons of ice since 1975. That's enough to cover India in a block of ice nearly 3 meters thick. And it's not just slow, steady melt. it's also chaos. Glacial lakes are bursting, triggering flash floods, destroying roads, fields, and homes. In 2023, a glacial lake burst in Sikkim, sending floodwaters rushing down the Teesta River, destroying dams, sweeping away homes, and leaving dozens dead. If you want to know what really happened, we broke it down in one of our previous videos. And if the current melt rates continue, many glaciers here in the Hindu Kush region will simply not survive this century. This has huge consequences because these glaciers don't just store water, they are the water for farms, for cities, for entire countries downstream. Right now, all that melting might seem like more water than we need. But by the time we hit mid-century, just 25 years from now, that supply will start to shrink. And when it does, it won't just be a climate problem. It'll be a food problem, a power problem, even a stability problem. Yala ceremony wasn't the first glacier funeral. Iceland held one in 2019. Mexico, Switzerland, Oregon, they've all said goodbye to these once majestic glaciers. However, Yala was the first one in the Hindu Kush region. But it won't be the last. The ice is melting. The rivers are shifting. The warnings are everywhere, and yet most of the world is still looking away. We still have a choice to turn the warnings into action, to stop treating the planet like it's disposable, to remember before we are forced to mourn again. If the story moved you, share it, because silence is part of the melting too. Follow the Climate Brief for more stories that shouldn't be forgotten.